When I was 14, I broke curfew. I was walking home alone around midnight-ish, and the only person out was my neighbor. He sat on his stoop, and when I said hi, he just looked at me in an odd way, almost confused, and just waved. The following afternoon, I walked into the living room, and my mom started questioning me like a crazy person. Quote, "What the hell are you doing coming in so late, and who was that man that walked you home?" I asked, "What man?" Surprised because I walked home alone and there was only one person outside when I was walking. I swear, I walked home by myself. You can ask blank, childhood friend. I begged her to believe me because I was telling the truth. She questioned me further. Quote, "Well, blank," neighbor that was sitting on a stoop, "told me you were walking down the street with a white man with a top hat and suspenders on." She continued to scold me, and I was not listening because she sounded absolutely insane at that point. We lived in an almost all black neighborhood that was not the safest to outsiders. Why the hell would I be walking down the street with a white man dressed like he was from the 60s? I stopped her rant. "Mom, do you hear yourself? You sound crazy." I promise I was not hanging out with an old white dude. We laughed at the notion and moved on with our day. Later that day, I was walking down the same street and the neighbor that was on his stoop asked me, quote, "Who was the white dude that walked you home last night?" I answered, "Why'd you tell my mom that? You got me yelled at, you weirdo." I snapped at him and kept walking. He yelled after me, "You the weirdo, hanging out with old white dudes and shit." I just kept walking on my way to my friend's house, not thinking anything about his nonsense anymore. I never thought of it again until years later. I was in my mid-20s and I was telling an older lady that I worked with the bizarre story, and she said, quote, "Watch yourself around that man. He means to harm you. Your guardian angel seems to have revealed himself to him." I looked at her quizzically. "What do you mean?" I asked the older lady. She told me that your angel will reveal itself to protect you from people that want to bring you harm. If only your neighbor could see him, it was because he would have harmed you or he wanted to. I sat there frozen, scared, stiff. That neighbor was always chill. She then said, "A wolf in sheep's clothing." I've been terrified of that guy since that day, and I avoid him the best I can. Jumping forward a few years, I was in my early 30s, and my great aunt was talking about her grandfather, who would have been my great-great-grandfather. She talked about how nice he was and showed me a picture of her very white grandfather. I was not shocked at all because our family is very much a melting pot, but what did surprise me was her next memory of him. Quote, "My grandfather always wore suspenders and never left the house without his top hat.